Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. So let's get on to solving 5 prelims question for prelims 2020. Alright, question number 1. The directive principles of state policy under the Constitution of India prescribe which of these things? So DPSP के बारे में हमें देखना है, इनमें से कौन कौन सा ऑप्शन राइट है. Number 1, certain policies that the government should adopt. Should is our directive here. Number 1 is this. Second is the goals and objectives that we as a society should adopt. All right. And the last is certain rights that individuals should enjoy apart from the fundamental rights. Is it so? Or is it like only fundamental rights talk about individual rights and basically DPSP talk about the rights of society or the government obligations? We just need to think it through and try to come up with the right answer. All right. So let's get on to the right answer here. Options are either way obvious. Number 1 is 1 and 2 only, 2 and 3 only, 1 and 3 only, or 1, 2 and 3 only. So here all of these options are correct. First is either way obvious. These are the policies that government should adopt. They are non-justiciable. They are not compulsorily on the part of the government, but government should either way be adhering to the provisions of the DPSPs. Second is these are the goals and objectives that we as a society should adopt. For example, going for egalitarian society, prevention of concentration of wealth, and all these things. Number 3 is very important. It does talk about certain individual rights that we should be enjoying apart from the fundamental right. It's not a must word here. Had it been certain rights that individual must enjoy, then that would have been incorrect because DPSPs are not by default justiciable. So because should is here, so this is correct statement कि हाँ कुछ ऐसे rights हैं जो DPSPs में भी हैं जो एक individual को enjoy करने चाहिए. For example, they are right to have some sort of living wage, humane and just working condition. They should be provided with free legal aid. So all these things are indeed correct. It's a very important question. Please try to memorize all the options. So we are done. Let's get on to option number 2. And whenever we are to talk about DPSP, try to think in a broader perspective. Let's move on to question number 2, which is again important and simple. So here we are having this as statement. Article 15 and 16 of the Constitution of India provide exception to the general rule of non-discrimination and equality of opportunity. 15 says non-discrimination, 16 says equality of opportunity, but then there are certain exceptions. Which of the following groups are explicitly mentioned in the above provisions? Explicitly is our keyword here, not implicitly. हमने खुद से नहीं conjecture करके सोचा, but it's right there in the Constitution. Number 1, women and the children. All right. Number 2, economically weaker section, and number 3 is the religious minority. Again, it's right there all over the news because of various things. So try to come up with the right answer. So right answer here is with the exception of religious minorities, these two are indeed explicitly mentioned as exception in Article 15 and 16. So women and children, we can go for providing them with special provisions, and that would not in any case be in violation of Article 15 and 16. Second is economically weaker section. This was not there in original case because originally we were only having socially and educationally backward section as the criteria of exception, but recently with the constitutional amendment, government has added economically weaker section as one of the criteria. And please write in the comment section which constitutional amendment it was. And religious minorities are either way not an exception. This is pure common sense. So we are done with question number 2 as well. So our right answer becomes 1 and 2. That's it. Let's get on to the question number 3, which is which of the following compulsorily play a role in the passage of a constitutional amendment bill? So compulsorily is the keyword here. It means we cannot pass a constitutional amendment without it being given to any of the body mentioned here. So compulsory, ठीक है, देखते हैं. First है लोक सभा, second is राज्य सभा, third is legislative assemblies, and fourth is legislative council. It's a really simple question. If you have read the Lakshmikant, then you must be knowing the answer. So which of these options are correct? 1 and 2, 1, 2 and 3, 3 and 4, 1, 2, 3 and 4. Try to come up with the right answer. So the answer here is 1 and 2 only. It's easy one because we cannot pass a constitutional amendment without the Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha, but in case of certain bills we need a suggestion or we need the approval of the 50% of the strength of the states, that is 29 का half कर देने से जितना भी बना, but that is only for those provisions in which state interest are involved. Largely हमको सिर्फ लोकसभा और राज्यसभा से बिल पास करवाना है, that too by special majority, and there is no provision of joint sitting. Separately दोनों houses को बैठ के स्पेशल मेजॉरिटी के साथ कॉन्स्टिट्यूशनल अमेंडमेंट बिल को पास करना है. एंड इन सम ऑफ द केसेस वेयर स्टेट्स इंटरेस्ट आर ऑल्सो इन्वॉल्व, वी आर सपोज टू सेंड दैट बिल टू द लेजिस्लेटिव असेंबलीज. दैट्स इट. और GST पास हुआ जैसे रिसेंटली, एंड देयर डेफिनेटली स्टेट इंटरेस्ट वर इन्वॉल्व बिकॉज देयर टैक्सेस वर ऑल्सो टू बी सबस्यूम्ड. सो वी डिड सेंड दैट वेरी बिल टू द लेजिस्लेटिव असेंबली. सो हियर कंपल्सरीली इज आर कीवर्ड हियर, सो आंसर बिकम 1 and 2 only. That's it. So let's get on to the next question, which is again important and simple as well. India is a democratic republic. All right. In the context of Indian polity, the term republic means what? Republic का मतलब हमें बताना है क्या है. Number 1, vesting of political sovereignty in the people. Our sovereignty is with the people or it's with the parliament. तो पहला स्टेटमेंट तो बोल रहा है political sovereignty is with the people. Is it so? Number 2, all public offices being open to every citizen without any discrimination. Is it what being a republic means in Indian polity context? So try to think it through and try to come up with the right answer. So let's see the answer now. So both of these statements are indeed correct. Republic means we are having elected head as the representative of the state, representative not of the government but of the state. लेकिन अभी खिचड़ी नहीं पकाते हैं. Basically we're talking about the president of India here. So president is a elected head of the state and that's what make India a republic. तो हमारा political sovereignty lies with the people because president is a representative of people, although indirectly elected, but basically जो MPs MLA president को elect करते हैं वो तो लोगों ने ही elect किए हैं. So this is how political sovereignty lies with the people, in the people. And all public offices being open to every citizen without discrimination. This is very, very correct because had it not been a republic, had it been a monarchical system here as is there in the Britain, then we were not supposed to go for the election of the president. Normal citizen cannot be the president इन सर्टन केसेस एंड दे आर नॉट रिपब्लिक. तो अभी फिर से खिचड़ी नहीं पकाते हैं. रिपब्लिक का मतलब बस यही है कि पॉलिटिकल सोवरेनिटी लाइज विद द पीपल. एंड सेकेंड, सब लोग आम इंसान भी जाके प्रेसिडेंट का इलेक्शन लड़ सकता है. अभी उसका प्रोसीजर है वो चीज़ अलग है, लेकिन एनीबडी कैन बी द प्रेसिडेंट. सो विदाउट एनी डिस्क्रिमिनेशन, दिस इज व्हाट बीइंग अ रिपब्लिक मीन्स. सो ऑल ऑफ दीज आर करेक्ट. सो वी गॉट द राइट आंसर बोथ 1 and 2. Let's get on to the last question now. Which of the following directives are provided under the Constitution of India? Number 1, तो अभी directives हैं. Directive basically means instruction. किधर Constitution of India में? So this is very important question. Number 1, to promote international peace and security. Is it so? Second is to provide adequate facilities for the instruction in the mother tongue at the primary stage of education to children belonging to linguistic minority groups. तो क्या जो linguistic minority groups हैं उधर हमको उनका मातृभाषा में education provide करनी है. Is it one of the directive that is right there in the constitution? लास्ट इज ड्यूटी ऑफ द यूनियन टू प्रमोट द स्प्रेड ऑफ हिंदी लैंग्वेज. क्या यूनियन के ऊपर ये डायरेक्टिव है कि उसको हिंदी का प्रमोशन करना है? सो ट्राई टू थिंक इट थ्रू एंड कम अप विद द राइट आंसर. द आंसर हियर इज ऑल ऑफ दीज ऑप्शंस आर करेक्ट. And these are very, very important. In the question, we have explicitly mentioned which of the following directives are provided under the Constitution. Nowhere we mention that which of the following directives are there in Part 4 of the Constitution, because largely we associate directive word with the DPSPs, which are there in Part 4 of the Constitution. But other than DPSPs, other than what all other directives in Part 4 of the Constitution, there are certain directives which are outside the Part 4. And here, these are our two options. Providing primary stage education to children of linguistic minority groups in their mother tongue, and duty of union to promote spread of the Hindi language. So these two are the directives that are right there in the Constitution but outside Part 4 of the Constitution. So this is really, really important. So that's how we got our right answer, which is D, 1, 2 and 3. So all these questions were indeed important because DPSPs and fundamental rights and all these are favorite topics of UPSC, and we are done with question 5 for day 5. So let's get on to one of the confusion now which was there with regard to day 4 question about the करेक्ट डिस्क्रिप्शन ऑफ द डिसइन्फ्लेशन। अभी इधर ज़्यादा कुछ मुश्किल नहीं है, 3 चीज़ें समझने वाली हैं। इन्फ्लेशन क्या, डिफ्लेशन क्या, डिसइन्फ्लेशन क्या। इन्फ्लेशन का प्राइसेस का बढ़ना, सो राइज इन प्राइसेस, एंड डिफ्लेशन है प्राइसेस का कम होना एंड फॉल इन प्राइसेस। तो ऑप्शन सी तो साफ साफ बोल रहा है परसिस्टेंट फॉल इन जनरल प्राइस लेवल, तो ये तो हो ही नहीं सकता बिकॉज दिस इज व्हाट डिफ्लेशन इज। इधर हमसे पूछा है डिसइन्फ्लेशन क्या है, तो डिसइन्फ्लेशन इज सिंपली फॉल इन द रेट ऑफ इन्फ्लेशन। कोई चीज़ अगर 5% से बढ़ रही है तो अभी वो 2% से बढ़ रही है। प्राइसेस तो अभी भी बढ़ रहे हैं लेकिन बस उनका रेट कम हो गया। सो दैट्स इट। सो वी आर नॉट सपोज टू गेट आवर सेल्फ एनी under confusion here. It's really simple. Do not confuse deflation with the disinflation. That's it. Moment there is fall in the prices, that's deflation. That's it. In disinflation there is still a rise in prices, although बढ़ने का रेट अब पहले से कम है, 5% के बजाय शायद 3% ही हो, राइट। सो आई थिंक दिस मच एक्सप्लेनेशन इज इनफ। सो वी आर डन विद डे 5 फॉर 5 क्वेश्चन फॉर prelims 2020. Thank you so much for watching and goodbye.